Here's a question I've been thinking about lately. And if you've been in this business for 30 minutes, this has probably happened to you. You've gotten a call from some organization wanting to talk about some affiliation, and we've got best practices to share. We've done this for hundreds and hundreds of advisors, and it's worked for them, so we're sure it's going to work for you. Does it sound familiar? Also, does it sound like something is missing from the front part of that conversation? We sure think so. Let's talk about that. Hey, Steve Phillips with you. Welcome back to another episode of In a Matter of Minutes, where we share a proven and actionable process that you can apply to your practice right away. This is a conversation that I really enjoy having with advisors. I really enjoy having this with my team. I think it's pretty foundational, but it seems to be a miss all throughout the industry. And I'm sure every one of you that's sharing this with us has gotten a call from some firm that would like a chance to see if we could affiliate together, see if you could do some business together and do that kind of thing. I'm not against that at all. We're in that business as well. But I'd suggest that the approach taken by a large portion of our industry is a little backwards. You've probably gotten a phone call from someone that said something like, hey, I want to share some best practices with you. Could be around anything. Could be around client acquisition. Could be around how to hire the next team member. Whatever it might be, we've got best practices. We've done this with hundreds of advisors, and they've been successful. So pretty sure that what they've done can apply to you. We're going to make you successful too. Does that not feel like that there's something missing? I think it's foundational to any type of communication. Before I can share something with you that's meaningful, why don't I ask you something about you? And so that's the approach we take at Advisor Protocol and USA Financial. In a previous episode, I think we talked about two very significant questions that we start with. And I have asked this question for almost 15 years ongoing. Two questions, actually. Number one, if you could accomplish, as an advisor or team, if you could accomplish one thing in the next 6-9 months, whatever that might be, that you think would make a difference in your practice, what would that be? Every single time we've asked that question, the response is very specific. It's never vague. It's very specific. We've got one thing in mind. The second part of that question then is, what is your current affiliation doing to facilitate that initiative and facilitate progress and growth? Those are two fair questions. From there, let's talk about this. A number of years ago, I sat down with my coaching team, and at that point, I think we probably had 40, 50, maybe 60 years of collective experience. And the conversation that we wanted to get into was literally hundreds, probably thousands of advisors that we've been in relationship with. Let's kind of draw out a path for where a practice lives throughout its evolution. In other words, from the moment that the practice starts to the moment that it's reached its conclusion, we've sold it, we've handed it down to a family member, whatever it might be, what can happen on that journey? And what we came up with were three very specific phases. Now let me pop this slide up on, just share this little graphic with you for a moment before we get into the conversation. You can see that the three phases are growth, expansion, legacy. Now, what you'll see there, and some of the bullets underneath each of those titles, is there are tremendous opportunities in each of these phases. Also, some challenges that have to be dealt with. So let's get into the conversation. Growth mode seems obvious. This oftentimes is the first thing, well, it would be the first thing that any new practice gets into. A focus on acquiring new clients, a focus on acquiring assets. Now, what I will say is I don't think that that phase ever goes out of style. It sort of morphs a little bit. I don't think any advisor team gets to the point where we're all full up on new clients and new assets. They may be acquiring clients more organically through introductions and referrals and so forth. So it's different, but it never really goes out of style. The challenges there are typically you don't really have a business yet if you're just getting started, you're just getting off the deck. You pretty much are trying to build a book of business. There's a focus on effective marketing. How can we find right fit clients manage the budget and get a good return on our investment. So that really is the growth phase. The second phase is a big deal, expansion. And I would say that 15 years of being focused on practice management, about 90% of the advisors and teams that we work with live in the expansion phase there. And that's where they are. Now, what you'll notice, and I'll share a couple of these things with you, is tremendous opportunity for growth, continued growth. Now, the words that we hear are scale, and every advisor will describe, every team will describe the word scale differently. Some are looking to classify clients, add more ideal clients. Some firms in the expansion phase are really focused on the team. How do we not only hire really good qualified team members, but also retain them so that they don't get pirated away by some other big giant organization in the coming years. So big opportunity there, big challenge. We see a lot of focus on creating efficiencies. How do we manage our time better? Refining the current processes that we have. All the while, we have to have a focus on increasing enterprise value. And so that is a phase that we focus a lot of our coaching and consulting on. And again, about 90% of the advisors that we work with are there. Now, I'm mentioning a lot of things, and we'll certainly get this graphic to you. Get a hold of me or get a hold of one of our teammates, and we'll get this over to you. But the conversation is, where are you? Once we know where you are, let's have a discussion about where you're going. Once we know where you're going, we can talk about what are the pieces that we need, what are the best practices, the pieces that we need to implement. Now, in those first two phases, there's a lot of work going on there. The third phase, legacy, and the way that we would describe that is your life's work. So think about that. And, I've been in the business for 35 years. I know a lot of advisors have been in for at least that and a little bit longer. Legacy is a big deal right now. And you know that all throughout our industry, there's conversation about mergers, acquisitions, practices are being bought. There's a big bit of competition between a lot of firms that are buying up practices. So the idea of legacy is becoming a big deal. Now, here's a comment that I would make that comes from our best practices over the years. And again, we would lead into this with a conversation with you to understand where you are, where you're going. If you are within 5 years or so of being done, I want to sell it, I want to hand it down to a family member, whatever it is, I just want to get out of this thing, and you haven't really thought about what that legacy or succession or your life's work looks like, the conclusion of it, you're probably too close. That's the type of work that we do. And the things that we see there are, you still think about what you've built, your best clients. An organization is going to buy it. You're going to sell it to maybe a partner advisor, hand it down to a family member. Competitor proofing best clients is a giant topic there. That matters, and all of you know that if I'm buying your business, I sure want to be positive that the best clients are going to stick around. We have an agreement there, and so that's a big part of what goes on. There are a number of different ways to buy or sell a practice. We refer to things like a book sale, an asset sale, a practice sale. So there are a lot of ways to do that. How am I going to call up any advisor, your team, and say, hey, we got best practices around how you ought to, maximize the value of your practice and let's get it sold? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? Are you looking to move? We've got best practices. Maybe anybody want to ask me some questions about my practice, where I am, where I'm going, what my time frame is? I have a successor in mind. I don't have a successor in mind. Oh, wait a minute, I'm not even there yet. I'm still in the expansion phase. We're still trying to hire the key executive admin person, trying to find a junior advisor that would lead me to the legacy conversation, right? All of those types of things. So the theme here for you is not rocket science. You may get a call from me or one of my teammates engaging in a conversation. Is there an opportunity for us to be a right fit to work together? But let's put that off to the side and have this conversation first. Number one, If you can accomplish one thing in the next 6, 9, 12 months, what would that be? Number 2, what is your current affiliation doing to facilitate progress and growth in those areas? And then finally, let's have a detailed conversation about what we know about the 3 phases. We can share everything that I've just talked about in great detail, find out where you are. What are the things that you're doing very well that you want to do more of? What are the opportunity gaps that we recognize together that we need to be working on? And let's get down the path. If we can approach it that way, then I'm pretty sure that our best practices and your experience will lead to a legacy. We'd love to have that conversation. Phillips at usafinancial.com. You can connect with us on our website, and if you get in touch with me or any of my teammates, we'll get the graphic out to you, and let's begin a conversation. Thanks again for the time. Looking forward to the next conversation.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and are not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.